Welcome to Equip, a ministry of Valley Forge Baptist. We're glad to have you with us today. We're also glad to have with us our head usher, Jeff Buckman. Jeff leads our ushers at Valley Forge Baptist. We're glad to have him a part of the video session this morning. And we're going to hear from Jeff, kind of some things that he uses or he has used to help lead our usher ministry here at Valley Forge Baptist. Jeff, glad to have you with us.
All right. Well, I just wanted to go over some things that you probably already know, but just by going over them, it'll get your mind thinking, and perhaps, well, it's our prayer that you can get a couple of things out of this that you can add to your ministry as well. When it comes to recruiting new ushers, you can certainly make an announcement from the pulpit, and you'll get one or two perhaps, or maybe three or four. But if you need a lot of ushers, I've found that the best thing to do is to go up to people and ask them if they're willing to be an usher. And then just ask them if they can serve Sunday morning service, Sunday evening, Wednesday evening, and then make a schedule so that they can be organized and not serve in every service. It's best if they have a time to worship as well, so that they know their designated time to be an usher.
Good idea. Let me ask you this, Jeff, and for our viewing audience, just so you know, any of these documents we're giving today, they'll be available for download, so don't forget to access those. Jeff, when you say recruiting for an usher, are there any particular parameters, things you're looking for someone to serve as an usher?
For sure. Yeah, you want them to be someone that's kind of a people person. We want them to look for visitors, greet them, ask them their name, where they're from, perhaps just kind of ushering them into the service. That's what they're there to do. And we have a requirement here that they be a member of Valley Forge Baptist. So that criteria is what we look for.
Yeah, so looking, I think ushering falls under that hospitality ministry. So still looking for someone who's kind of certainly after the people and they're comfortable with the setting and environment, and they can also kind of command a presence so they can lead someone into a seating, but also know that they can run the service too.
Absolutely. And once you have your team together, formulate a fact sheet. You have their name, their phone number, email address, which service that they're willing to serve in, and then ask them in if they're willing to pray for the offering. You don't want to have someone there that doesn't want to pray. They have a fear of public speaking. So put that on your fact sheet as well, and then email that around to all the men. So when they're away, they're on vacation, ask them to be getting a substitute for while they're away.
That's practical. You want to ask them if they're comfortable praying. It'd be not a good scene if you had them down front and they weren't comfortable with that. I appreciate you pointing that out. But also you're putting some responsibility on them. So they know they're going to be away. You've emailed the usher schedule for that particular time period, so they know who they can call for a replacement. You
right.
have some. Okay,
That's
perfect.
Right.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, we do a 3-month schedule. And for those 3 months, we have basically everybody else's position stays the same. But for those 3 months, the two men in the middle that pray for the offering, those two men just alternate back and forth every other Sunday praying for the offering.
Perfect. So step us through, Jeff, just for a moment. What's an expectation for an usher here at Valley Forge Baptist? You've recruited them now. You're going to put them in place. They're going to be wherever their particular position is for a service. What are some expectations that you would have of an usher to perform their duties to the glory of God here and to minister to our people?
Yeah, we ask them to be here 15 minutes before the service. Quite frankly, that doesn't always happen. I'm sure their schedules, they get the kids or whatever, but we ask them to be here 15 minutes before the service. We ask them to be keeping an eye out for any visitors that come. That way they can be just kind of beelining it for the visitors. We're also handing out the service notes for that particular service as they come in, but that's basically what we ask them to do.
Yeah, I've noticed, Jeff, that you have you have your ushers in a particular area. They're going to serve down a particular aisle. I've noticed that with the service handouts or special handouts that may be given on a particular time, that you've encouraged the ushers to kind of engage with the ones in their area. Is that just for friendliness? Is that just for
friendliness? No.
Okay,
yeah, just to kind of get to know them a little bit better, just to kind of be cordial, reach out to them.
Very helpful. I know often they will know if someone's new because they're regulars, so they
right.
can be a little extra extension there of our greeter ministry as well. Any other things that you would call for ushers? Do they have any security responsibilities? Do they have other things that they have to look out for?
Absolutely, yeah. When the ushers come front for the offering, we have all the ushers face towards the front of the auditorium until the prayer starts for the offering. At that point, all the ushers turn around, but the only ushers that are bowed in prayer are the two in the middle. The ushers that are in the rest of the church or upstairs in the balcony, they keep their eyes open. We started this a few years ago just from security reasons. You hear of tragic things taking place during church services, and if you're one of those kind of crazy people, what's the most opportune time to disrupt the service? When everyone has their eyes closed.
Yep.
So we have our ushers kind of as a security precaution, just watch over the church service, so to speak.
And for our viewing audience, the main reason we have our two guys in the middle, we have one praying and one with their head bowed, is we do live stream services, so the cameras are going to be on them, and the cameras are not going to be on the ones in the other aisles, so they won't be showing up on the cameras. They're being disrespectful during the service, but also offering a security avenue for us as well. How about special services? We have lots of them, with Easter and Christmas being the biggies, but we have many other things. We have revival services, we have missions conferences. How do you handle those extra needs that come about, and then how do you communicate that to your ushers?
Yeah, for sure. They do sneak up on us, don't they?
They do. It's constant.
But we communicate to the ushers through email, and that could be as late as a Sunday morning, and something changes. We'll email the ushers, hey, there's a handout today at the end of the service. It just, I still kind of make the loop, make sure everybody knows, but in case I get caught off with a visitor or something, at least it gets it out there. But so email is the primary way to communicate. Now, for special services, we do not have them on the schedule. I just ask all the men to come prepared to serve.
Okay.
And then I ask them to see me, and I'll just assign them a spot for that particular service.
So once an usher, always an usher. Be ready.
Pretty much so. We also have an usher in charge of each service. And that way, if I'm away or if I get drawn off in some other area on a Sunday morning or Sunday evening, there's an usher in charge of that service to making sure the offering plates are out, the announcements are spread around. And then if it comes down to 5 minutes before the service starts and there's not an usher in a position, that means that usher is away and they did not do their duty in getting a substitute. But then that usher in charge of the service just will go up to another usher and say, hey, can you serve over here? And our guys are very willing. They understand, and it's not a problem. But somebody has to be watching to make sure all the areas are covered.
And always being flexible. I think I heard from Pastor Wendell or someone else said, blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. And that's really a good model to follow when it comes to ushering. When you think about ushering, I know that we're told in the Bible, we desire to follow this principle and command as well, that we would do things decently in order. And I think when people come to worship services here at Valley Forge Baptist, just one of the presence things that happen is the presence and the seemingly awareness that our ushers have, and just making sure the services go smoothly and they put people at ease, even visitors, and they seem very comfortable. We're very thankful for the ushering ministry here at Valley Forge Baptist. If I understand it, head usher Jeff Buckland, and then you have overseers of each service.
Yep, different men in each service.
Okay, so you communicate to them, and then they would communicate to the ones that are serving during that particular worship service?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, or we tag team it. Sometimes the communication timeline, it could be, something comes to us and there's only 2 minutes before the service. So I'll communicate it to the guys upstairs and the other fellow communicate downstairs. You just do whatever you need to do to make it happen.
Well, I even know that you take a lot of mission trips. In fact, I think you're leaving on one this week.
That's right.
And so you'll be gone for maybe 1 or 2 Sundays. What's your method now? Do you assign someone else to kind of take over the ushering responsibilities when you're away, just so things run smoothly?
Yeah, I make sure that those men that are in charge of the various services are going to be here, and they're not going to be away. And then I let Pastor know who's his go-to person. Matter of fact, I need to do that before I leave in 2 days, so thanks for that reminder. Sure. But that way, Pastor knows who to go to as the person in charge for those services.
I just one more technical detail, because I've observed this about this in some of your training. I just want to be able to get it out on the video today. When the ushers come down, and they're going to be standing to attention, so to speak. They're going to have that presence about them, and they go to pass the offering plate. I've noticed that you've trained them, pass the offering plate, acknowledge that first person that's going to receive the plate, and then they're looking forward. Now, is that something that trained, or is that something they just pick up on knowing how to do, and why is that?
Yeah, well, we've trained that because you don't really want the usher to be watching down the aisle and following the offering plate as it comes down. It makes people feel uneasy, really. So, the usher, as you said, acknowledges that first person, gets the plate started, and you can see in your peripheral vision where the plates are, and then just work your way back, but just facing towards the back of the auditorium, but watching what's going on. And actually, I have a little story there. At one point, this was years ago, but I'm watching through my peripheral vision, and I see this dear elderly lady. I'm going to guess she's 85 and frail, but she starts to take money out of the offering plate. So I just said, hey, excuse me, you can't. Oh, that's right. And then she put it all back. But, that peripheral vision is key. You got to, just keep an eye on what's going on. You don't want people taking money out of the plate, okay?
Yeah, I've always heard the story, they write a check for 100 and pull out 120 in cash. I don't know if that works out.
I haven't seen
Not
that.
normally the case. I've heard those silly things. Jeff, it's been extremely helpful today. Anything else that we would end up with here as far as ushering duties and things like that?
The only thing I can think of in closing would be to just thank the guys often, just to show your appreciation, and that way you kind of keep a team atmosphere. So just thank the guys.
Yeah, they do a tremendous work, often behind the scenes, but also in the scene.
Right.
And we're very thankful for the ministry here of ushering, and thank you for your leadership of heading up the usher ministry here at Valley Forge Baptist. Thank you for watching.